that?
Rapping. Who's that rapping in my chamber door? Mr. Raven. All up in my grill like nevermore. Kick it once upon a midnight dreary. While I kicked it weak and weary. Dark and cold just like Lake Erie. Brand new sample, someone clear me. While I nodded nearly napping. Suddenly there came a tapping up like what? This thunder clapping in my brain like graphic halflings after me. I put down Milton, cell phone mute like Paris Hilton. Open window halfway building. Time to change it like Bob Dylan. 20-pounder black as can be. Cold feet, cold eyes, ain't straight at me. Grim face, grim stare, death carnivore. Alright guys, from jail, here we go. Nevermore. Who's that? Who's that rapping? Who's that rapping in my chamber door? Mr. Raven. All up in my grill like nevermore. I said, who's that? Who's that rapping? Who's that rapping in my chamber door? Mr. Raven. It's a party, y'all. Who's that? Who's that rapping? Who's that rapping in my chamber door? Mr. Raven. All up in my grill like nevermore. I said, who's that? Who's that rapping? Who's that rapping in my chamber door? Mr. Raven. All up in my grill like, yo, I miss Lenore. My Annabelle Lee, taken by angels from me. Alone with books, hey, that's me. Harbinger of death, visiting me. I said, can I help you? Evil prophet, if you got a problem, look, I'll solve it. Check my book, DJ Revolve it. Perched on Palace, Alice dropped it. Tell me, sir, please, if you can. Am I a good or evil man? What can I say? What can I do? When will I be rid of you? Nevermore, quoth he at me. Hating on this fresh MC, satanic Raven. Shake me, killing me softly like the Fugees. Now I feel worse, my verse is terse. Joy in verse, just like Fred Durst. All and nurses burst my thirst. Put this process in reverse. Wish I had some warning first. MC Lars, 88 Hearst. Now I'll never be slug or merce. Alright, get serious right here. Curse the Raven's eyes, still have the seeming of a demon that is dreaming. Lamplight over him still streaming. Hear me screaming, my soul still floats there on that floor. It shall be lifted, nevermore. Afflicted come like Michael Moore. Canonized peace, US folklore. Who's that? Who's that rapping? Who's that rapping in my chamber door? Mr. Raven. All up in my grill like nevermore. I said, who's that? Who's that rapping? Who's that rapping in my chamber door? Mr. Raven. Here we go. Let's go, Lars. Who's that? Who's that rapping? Who's that rapping in my chamber door? Mr. Raven. All up in my grill like nevermore. I said, who's that? Who's that rapping? Who's that rapping in my chamber door? Mr. Raven. All up in my grill like nevermore. Whose house? Raven's house. Whose house? Raven's house. Whose house? Raven's house. Help us out. Whose house? Rumpus, whose house? Raven's house. I said, whose house? Raven's house. Whose house? Raven's house. Whose house? Raven's house. Whose house? Raven's house. Who's that? Thank you. Good up for yourself, San Francisco.